Hey, Roddy.
Hey, hey Patty, how are you?
Good, good. Mary
Yep.
Beth has asked me to head up the session today.
Oh, it's going to be a great one then.
You're kind. I'm gonna have to have everybody pull, it's like the ox pull. Everybody's got to pull to make it successful and make it
Oh,
work.
there you go. It's a team effort. I
I
like
got
that.
it. Always, always. So did everybody have a wonderful 4th of July weekend, I hope?
No fireworks. The town postponed the fireworks till Friday
Okay. Yeah, a
because
lot
of the
of towns
weather.
did that because of the weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was down at the shore and apparently there was some social media buzz about what was it, Long Branch? About 10 days ago, there were a lot of misbehaving. And
Oh,
yeah, so some towns I think were a little skeptical about rescheduling. Shame, isn't it?
it is. It is. My dogs are going crazy because the neighbors were launching their own fireworks.
A lot of people were.
Yeah, and he barked all night. It was terrible night's rest.
Next time, or get to your vet and get some pills.
Ah, I got two dogs, so I got and cats, but the cats
Then
didn't
get
seem to.
two, then yeah, get two pills. Your vet can get you pills too.
Yeah, the little guy was okay. I think he was just in his crate, but the big guy was constant barking.
Yeah, they're afraid.
Somebody was telling me the sound when it launches is a high pitched. We can't hear it, but they can.
Oh, wow. Okay. Must hurt their ears.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. I have two Angies. Angie, you going in and out on me? Okay.
Hi, I was just trying to see if I'm in the right meeting.
This is coaching group 2.
Honestly, I'm confused. I I received an email from Mary Beth, her program, and I wasn't sure if I'm in the right meeting.
Are you a new agent?
Yes.
You know what? Just relax. You're probably at the right spot.
Okay.
Pour
thank you.
yourself a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, or it's after 12 o'clock. So
All right. Thank you.
yeah, just enjoy yourself.
It doesn't
is-
stop some people.
I'm sorry.
I said that doesn't stop some people.
That's true.
Yes.
True, true. Okay, I'm letting a whole bunch of people in right now. Okay, hopefully.
Can you tell me a little bit about this class? Like, is this a class that started like a couple of weeks ago and it goes on for like 2 months?
This is not so much a class as it is group coaching, where there's an open exchange of ideas, concerns, and challenges that the agents are running into. So there isn't hard course material. Am I defining this correctly, guys?
Yes.
Okay. It's
Because
more,
okay.
Yeah.
Because there is a, I'm not sure if this is it, but Mary Beth has a class that that runs for a couple of months and then it starts and ends, and I don't know what is this different than that one?
I don't know whether you're talking about
I-
Ignite or can anybody help? Ignite or Push with David Radney?
Well, Push, I know.
Okay,
I am in Push, but could be Ignite, I'm not sure.
okay. All right, anybody have anything they can add?
To that conversation. Not aware of anything that Mary Beth has done that has a start and end date.
Right,
Typically, it's it's either a one-off or a continuing meeting like this. Nabila and I have a question when you're ready to get started.
go.
We were practicing, doing our script practice, and the fun part is always when we get to the point of commission. So of course, Nabila is a very tough script partner, by the way. So if
She should
anyone's in
be.
need, absolutely,
You
Wouldn't have it any other way.
You deserve tough, Roddy.
absolutely. So we were talking about commission, and a novel idea came up that what if we start off at, like 5.5, for example, and if we don't sell the property in 2 weeks, we could drop it down to 5. Is that something that can be done?
Sure, absolutely. Just make sure it's very clear that you have a date rather than just saying 2 weeks. Make sure you have a
Alright.
date. Now, the question is, are you taking that off the list side or the buyer's agent side?
Buyer's agent.
So, okay, I'm gonna guide you there if I may. If you take a 5.5, what are you giving to
Oh, sorry,
cooperating
no, it
broker?
was the sellers. It
I
was,
was
Okay.
gonna say, yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
the sellers.
So the buyer's agent gets 2.5 and the listing agent would get 3 if you get the job done. Now, when I say the job done, you want an accepted offer. Doesn't have to be
Yes.
through attorney, just to guide you. You don't want to wait till it's through attorney review because that's something that's out of your control. An attorney
Right.
could take 5 days to get it out of control, out of attorney review. And you don't want your commission to go because the attorney took too long. So you would say an accepted offer by July 20th.
so where in the contract would that be written? Is that like? an
Probably on
addendum?
remarks on the listing agreement, instead of putting, your flowery, whatever description of the
Emailed
property.
together.
And just make sure that you can tag it to put an initial there. Or if you're in person, obviously, because you don't want for the seller at a later date to say, hey, you added that later. Okay. Of course,
And it
it's
would be
you
s-
who are, losing commission. But yeah,
Right.
you could do that. Yeah.
So the initial would be signed by the seller.
Yeah, the change, that description of your commission and how it would be handled in the beginning and then 2 weeks later. Yep,
Got it.
yeah. Let's talk about commission a minute, as long as you brought that up. Did that answer your question? Does that make it clear for you? And you
absolutely.
feel empowered to go forward with that?
Yeah, I figured that it would go in the remarks section. I didn't think about the initial. So that makes it even,
Always,
sense.
always.
Yeah.
I once had a seller accuse an agent of adding something after the fact. So it doesn't happen enough, but it happens once, it's once too much.
Yeah.
Commission, do you all feel very comfortable asking for 6, 5.5, 5? I've got to believe the sellers are feeling pretty empowered right now. They all own mansions, whether they think they do or not. And they all believe the house is going to sell within a day or two. So do you think there's pressure, downward pressure on your commission, and how do you handle that? Please, this is open forum. There are no, Albert, there are no wrong answers. Go for it, girl.
I'm not even there yet. I'm not even getting listing appointments. I'm not right now. All I can get are buyers. So I'm not even at
Okay.
the point where I'm negotiating commission.
Okay, all right. And
I
is that
don't even have buyers.
frustrating you, Albert?
Quite a bit, yeah.
Okay, and when you call people, let's help Albert out because it'll help all of us. Where do you find sellers?
I have no idea. It's been hard even getting buyers. Like this morning was the first time someone even signed a contract with me. I'm working with so many people, and today was the first time someone
Okay,
actually.
then that's progress. Albert, it's progress.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm just saying, I don't know if anyone else is with me, but I feel like I'm not even there yet. So
All right, let's talk
I don't
about
know
it.
if anyone agrees.
Same.
Same, Daniel, that was you? Okay. Where do you find seller listings?
Well, that being
Roddy.
said, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You started.
Well, just that being said, my one shining moment since I've been on these
Your
coaching
one
calls,
signing moment. I love that.
shining moment was
Signing
when-
moment. I
signing
like.
moment. All right, well, we'll change it. Was when I went door knocking. That's still to be determined, but I do think the face-to-face interaction is great. In fact, I just saw a picture this morning of JFK door campaigning back in the day. It was a black and white historical photograph. And I was like, wow, that's really powerful what he's doing. So that was encouraging. So that's my
Okay.
input
Okay.
on that. Yeah.
I like that. And how did you select the neighborhood you door knocked on? In?
Well, I am with a team, so I'm staying local here, Ordell, Emerson, and Westwood and River Edge. And it was just homes who have been owned for over 30 years and don't have a mortgage necessarily. And it was just really an informational. And I put together a nice letter, and I went door knocking, and the letter had a copy of my business card on that copy. Instead of giving out business cards, I just put a color copy of that on the sheet of paper. And it was just really trying to educate people about the current market, or remind them about the current market and the fruits of the riches that people are inheriting right now due to the market. So that was the intention of the letter.
Okay, so where did you get that list of people who are in the homes for?
MLS.
From the MLS. Where did you go, in the tax search?
Yes.
Okay. Can you do a search based on year bought in the tax section? Or you just spent a long time reading all those tax pages?
No, I worked with Kelly on this, so I'm not sure exactly how that happened. I can find out
Okay.
for sure though. Yeah.
Please do. I will tell
Yeah.
you, one of the levels of joining Cole Realty Resource allows you to do a search, allows you to find information. But I don't think you can search by years in the property. You would just have to kind of search each property, and it would tell you when they bought, or
Okay,
actually
I'll
each
confirm on
street,
that.
each street, and then you can see when they bought. Mhm.
Okay. I'll try to get
Yeah.
back on the next
But
call.
that's, yeah, that's a good one. Thank you. So door knocking with a focus in a specific neighborhood on those people who had been in the home. Actually, you said 30 years. It can be greater than 10 years because that's the average right now where people start to flip over.
But just an
And
addendum to that. So I started with that list, and as I was walking, I'm trying to concentrate more on homes that need improvements and don't look like they're upkept. So I saw so many homes that were just in dilapidated condition. So I would knock on their doors, and my list was incomplete as far as me completing that day, because I gave out so many other lists, in my travels, and it was inspiring, to be honest.
all right. When are you doing it again, Daniel?
Well, I found out that we need solicitation permits in each
Yeah.
town, so we're in the process of doing that.
Yeah, always check someone who's either done it in that town before, or call the town clerk and say, do I need a solicitor's permit? Yeah,
And they range from $25 to $75, depending
Yeah.
on what town. Yeah,
yeah.
What's the duration of that permit?
I believe it's yearly.
Okay. It's an annual?
Yeah, but let me check on that again. I'll write this down. And Roddy, what's your information I can reach you at?
Roddy Negron at kw.com. So it's
Okay.
RODDYNEGRON. That'd be great. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, the picture, one of the reasons that the towns have instituted permits, picture someone who lives at home, maybe is not working outside the home, and there's a car parked in front of their house all day. And they're wondering, why is somebody parked on my street all day? What does that mean? They get a little nervous. They call the town, and the town would say, oh, that's someone who is soliciting. They have a permit. It's okay. All right. Does it make sense why we need to get permits?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Boy, we did a lot of stuff there. So Cole Realty Resource, but let's stay on the topic. Door knocking, homes where they've lived there for a while. Let's just say a while. Okay. And you had their information because you had done a tax search, right? Right, Daniel? So that when you knocked, you had their name.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. And you had a letter with your business card, some support material. Okay.
Yes.
What are other places that we find sellers?
Open
Audie.
houses.
Hey, Leslie, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm good. Where, Leslie?
Open houses.
Okay, when you host an open house, some people who come are actually interviewing you. Is that what you mean?
Well, they're looking and they don't have their house on the market yet, or, they're thinking about it. So gives you an opportunity to talk to them and either help them, you know, buy something and sell something, or, maybe they know that the property that they're seeing with you isn't for them, but then you get into conversation and then before you know it, you're going to list their house. So
Can I just comment a couple things there? First of all, open houses are real tough right now. They're just not available. The houses are selling quickly. But if you can approach an agent in your market center who has a listing that maybe's been on for a while, and you can do an MLS search by market center or office, and approach the listing agent, say, can I host an open house there? And then do a full blown on, whatever, however you say it, open house where you door knock and invite the neighbors. Statistics show that when a house comes on the market, within 6 months, 2 more homes in that neighborhood will come on the market. But it takes the holding the open house, the door knocking, the mailing to the neighborhood. And it's not just a one and done. It's constant reaching out, and especially if you can get that opportunity to do an open house. Roddy, and then I see you, Ann. Go ahead, Roddy.
Well, I've been, working with my Sphere consistently. I had 3 listing opportunities. Lost one because they wanted to sell it quickly and they felt that an experienced agent would be better. They'd already signed a contract before they spoke to me about it. Another one did the comps and everything and gave him some suggestions, and he took that information and shared it with the neighbor that was looking to move back in. The neighbor moved away some years ago, missed the neighborhood, and found out that he was selling and approached him. And he gave her, what I suggested, and boom, he got it. He's a real estate attorney, so he could, certainly handle the whole process. But at least he called me, and he said
he may have a sense of he owes you.
maybe.
All right.
He's
So-
done me some favors in the past, so no hard feelings. And then the third, again, Spear, but this one's going to stick. He's got a hoarding issue, which is going to be challenging, just trying to get everything out of the house. But we're going to close on a condo that he put a asking price bid on August 4th. And hopefully, I'm hoping that we'll be able to list his home in August. So just got to encourage him to move.
Good. Now, sphere of influence, I think you just hit gold.
Yep.
Because sphere of influence are the people, how big, it all goes, you increase your likelihood of getting listings from your sphere of influence by the size of your database.
Right.
Can I see a show of hands? And you can use the virtual hand or your real hand. How many of you have databases that are over 250? Okay, job one. You do have all those people. Think of Instagram, Facebook, who's in your phone. And Scott Leroy can help you do some data dumping of all those people into Command and then put them on smart plans. Your sphere of influence, if they're on a smart plan, and then if you could make even an hour's worth of calls a day to reach out to them, because sphere of influence, you just heard Roddy, 3 people out of his sphere of influence. Your conversion rate is much higher with your sphere. And
I was going to say, Roddy just read my mind about SOI, because I was going to say that too. I was at a barbecue this weekend and I was talking to people, and one of them has to sell pretty soon, and they're not in this area, but I could do a referral for them. And then there's another, my nephew, they're going to be looking to buy soon, him and his wife. So that'll be, another referral because they're out of the area. And I was also going to say the Nextdoor app is good. I haven't had any luck personally with it, but there have been a couple of people who have asked for a real estate agent, and I chatted with a couple people. They didn't get back to me, but I feel like, whoever they got back to, they probably, have.
You know,
their work
we
with.
take it personally when someone doesn't get back to us, but it's not their job to get back to us.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't take
yeah.
it personally. I was just noting that I have to just keep working at it and just keep
Yep.
reaching out and just, repetition is.
The responsibility is 100% ours
Mhm,
to get in touch
Absolutely.
and stay in touch. Yeah.
mhm.
But I like the Nextdoor app. That's great. And it made me,
Good.
yeah,
It's very-
that's fabulous. Fabulous. What else? Where are some other places we can find listings? Dave,
Okay, so I've been having luck with my sphere of influence, and I have a question though. I get probably 20 calls a day on people who either want to buy my property or sell me, insurance or, car insurance, whatever. So what I do is
warranty on your car?
I mean, the whole gambit. So I don't answer my phone, right? Unless they come up and call their ID, and then I wait for a voicemail, and if it's real, then I call people back. But I also know that people might be calling me who I don't have their number, and I'm not answering the phone right away. How does everybody else deal with that? With all the spam calls we get, because I've heard, and if you answer or respond or whatever, it just encourages them to do more.
Comments?
I block people, and a lot of times if certain calls are filtered out, next time if you have blocked certain calls, it will block the other ones that are coming in if
block.
they're related in some way. So just a thought.
Good
Does
one.
anybody answer their phone anymore? I mean,
Only if they leave a voice message. To me, that's the defining feature.
yeah, okay. I just want to make sure I'm not, missing something.
And Dave, I
Hi.
got a, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I actually have my voicemail set that if it's an urgent matter, that the best way to get in touch with me is via text message. So if I get a text message, I immediately call them back.
Okay.
I was going to say you could do that instant response on your phone. Please text me.
Yeah, I'm with a client. Please text me.
Yeah, and Dave, what I did, it's a little complicated at times because I don't necessarily, I haven't necessarily learned the software, all the way to learn certain features. It's not that complicated. It's a phone software, but I use Google Voice as my phone number, so it's not my personal phone, and then I can see that it's coming from a different source.
Thanks.
Good ideas. Good ideas. All right, how are we doing with Albert? Are we helping you? Did you go anyplace, Albert? Did you go someplace? Ooh, okay, maybe she did. Any questions? Anything you want to add about where to go to get a listing? How to find a listing? How to discover a listing? Because they're out there and somebody else is going to get it. So how do you discover those listings?
You talked earlier
Well-
about,
I'm sorry.
no, you go.
Well, what I do is I speak to my family and friends that I know that they own property, and I kind of give them a market insight of what they can gain if they ever decide to sell the property. So some of them are may already be thinking about it. Some of them might not, but it's something to put in their head. And then that's how we can start the conversation.
Okay. Who else? Roddy, were you going to say something?
You were talking earlier about importing contacts from different online platforms. LinkedIn is probably a great source because you've probably interacted with a lot of people that you've worked with in the past. You may not have their contact information anymore. So if you do the export and was it Leroy?
Scott Leroy, exactly.
Scott Leroy, just contact them. They'll import it into your command. You could actually even filter it and just say that only contacts that have email addresses or phone numbers are to be imported. And then this way you could at least reach out. I mean, former coworkers is the one listing I'm going to get is a former coworker.
That's great. That's great. And you mentioned social media. even if you're not placing paid ads, which you can do, you can still try to re-image yourself with all of your friends by posting real estate related stuff. Whether it's, a pretty house that you're inspecting on Realtor Tour, we're starting that again, or open house, and post that on your Facebook page and have people private message you if they'd like to see it. But this helps to re-image you with all these people that haven't thought of you as a realtor. So it piggybacks on the reaching out to the sphere of influence. So I'm glad Albert brought that up. I'm sorry she left us. What other challenges are you having relating to sellers?
I would
Leslie?
say certainly CMAs.
What's that? You mean pricing it right?
Bringing them back down to earth.
Okay, let's
know,
talk
there's-
about that.
Yeah.
Yep, they all think they're living in mansions. Leslie, you want to add to that?
Well, it wasn't about that. It was more so about reimaging. I was just going to say, try and get yourself on social media as much as possible to keep you top of mind to everybody. I mean, I definitely was doing that for a while, and then life happened. So I kind of, like, every Monday I was doing a post, every Tuesday I was doing a post, every Friday I was doing a post. If I did an open house, if I helped out with an open house, or if I saw something, I just would post it on my Instagram. I definitely, I'm not gonna say stopped. I feel like I've only been posting on Fridays and some Mondays. So I feel like I need to get back into like the regimen of consistency. And I just feel that that's really important, because it just, again, keeps you top of mind. And then when somebody's going to think of someone, they'll think of you because they just, saw you.
Yep. I like that. Now, Roddy, you mentioned CMA.
Oh,
And-
CMA. Yeah, a lot of conversations I'm having, it's people have these ideas. They'll look at neighboring homes, not realizing that they're really not comparable. They're different styles, they're different ages, different conditions, a number of things, but they just look at the numbers and think, well, I can get 650,000 for my home.
Yeah.
When my comps are saying, 495.
Yeah. Okay, so how do you handle a situation like that, guys? And again, let me go back to, this is a group discussion. I want to hear, no idea is a bad idea. ahead.
Well, just from what I've heard and experienced a little bit by being on the team, people can sell their homes for whatever they like, but what's going to happen is they're going to put it up for a higher price, and it's just going to sit on the market, and they're going to blame the realtor. So you can just have a pretty straight up conversation about that. Like, this is how it goes. You're more than welcome to do what you like, but I have this many years experience, or well, that's what's happening here. But you can just say, if you price it right, the home will sell faster. If you price it too high, it's going to sit there longer, and it's just going to create like a stale feeling on your house.
Mhm.
And
I
I think
think they
that's-
feel right now that they can't ask too much. That whatever they ask, they'll get. And even if their house isn't worth it, because they're hearing buyers say, oh my God, I probably paid too much. So they're thinking, wow, I want to find a buyer who's going to pay too much. How do you take control? Because that's what I'm trying to drive you to right now. How do you grab control of the seller realtor interaction?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say too. 'Cause that way you're in control. You tell them straightforward what you think, but also in this market, from what I'm understanding, obviously I've only been in here for 4 months, is that if you price it correctly, you're going to create a bidding war, and you're going to get more money for it. So that's the angle that I would personally use if I was dealing with a seller. We price it correctly, and you're going to make more money on it.
Now, I agree with you. CMA.
Now,
In today's,
And also, what I wanted to mention is what I'll do is I'll research the market where they are, and I'll find a home that is having prices reduced on it, and show that as an example, even in this market. If it's priced wrong and it sits on the market and they start reducing and they reduce it once and then maybe a month later they're reducing it the second time. There's something wrong at
Yeah.
that point, but at least it shows them that it can happen.
Yeah, and that's a good technique to show them expired listings because those are ceiling prices. Yep. Yep. In this kind of market, I would give a little more emphasis than I normally would to active listings because we have such a rapidly appreciating market. Normally, we look very hard at the solds, and we like our solds to be at least no older than 6 months, because even if something closed 6 months ago, you had the meeting of the minds 8 months ago. Usually it's 2 months between contract and close. So, but in this kind of a market, I would look at actives and see what their competition is and just start to think like a buyer. But the control of the interview starts with the initial phone call. And it's how you handle that initial phone call with the seller, where you're trying to get at the seller's motivation. Are you all, I'm assuming David Radney, you're all going to David's push class. And I know one of the things he goes into is the questions that he asks, the pre-qualifying questions. I'm looking at him. That's why you're seeing my shoulder. The pre-qualifying questions for a seller. Just remember, whoever is asking questions is in control. Okay. So that first phone call needs to be a substantive phone call where you actually take control, ask the important questions to get at the seller's motivation and to see if you have a cooperative partner in the seller. Are you all aware of the questions that I'm talking about? Maybe I'll go through some of the
Yes.
questions, see if they seem familiar. Yeah, right. David's, before I come out, I need to get a little more information from you so I can do my homework. Do you have a couple of minutes? Does this sound familiar? When we get together, if everything looks good and you feel confident, I am the best agent to sell your property. Are you planning to hire me when I come? Are you interviewing other agents? Does this sound familiar to you? If not, Mary Beth and I'll do a class.
Oh, yes, it does.
Okay,
It does.
okay. That's what I want to hear. So who's in control? Do you think the seller, when they're talking to a realtor who takes control like this, thank you, Bella, that they're going to realize, wow, this is a different agent. This is a different agent. And it puts you in control. Tell me again, where are you moving to? It also brings the appointment all about them, because isn't it all about them? And you want to reassure them, this is about you. All right. Make the appointment about them. In fact, if you've done Ignite and you look at the questions in the student version of the listing appointment, it repeatedly says, this is about you. The interview is about you and helping you make a good decision. So, what else? Expectations. Expectations. What do you think is the seller's biggest expectation besides selling their home? Crickets.
To be treated honestly and fairly.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Yep, net the most they can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, as I managed offices for a long time, do you know, whenever I got a phone call from a seller complaining about the agent, do you know what the complaint was about?
Communication.
Bullseye. Bullseye. Yep. Yep. That will soothe over many a bump in the relationship. Scheduled, planned communication between the agent and the seller. In fact, that's one of the questions. How often do you want to be communicated with, and how, and to whom? Because usually there's a couple sellers. But communication is the biggest thing you can do when you're taking a listing or trying to get that listing. And sellers have a set of expectations that you need to help them verbalize. They have an image of what a sale looks like. What do you think the seller's image looks like right now of a real estate transaction? They have an image in their head. What do you think it looks like?
Their house is going to be sold quickly and for as much money as possible, maybe more than the market would bear even.
That's right. That's right. That this sign is going to go in the lawn, it's going to go on the MLS and probably sell by the first weekend. Right? Yeah, that's their expectation, and that everything will go smoothly. Because buyers right now, they're hearing buyers are waiving inspections and everything else, so they figure it's going to be smooth sailing. Is that the case? Is that what you're hearing?
Not always. I mean, it seems like a lot of times they just do sell quickly, but not always.
They don't always, and the market isn't always going to stay like this. But I think you need to elevate the seller's expectations. Have them verbalize what their expectations are. What do they expect from you? In fact, if you've ever listened to Linda McKissick, any of you know who Linda McKissick is? She's one of the speakers. She's highlighted frequently because of her profit share. Linda McKissick makes over $1 million a year in profit share. Profit share, or I should say passive income. Let me rephrase that. Passive income. Is that something that anybody here on this call would be interested in? $1 million in passive income? Yeah, I thought so. She has on YouTube a listing presentation, and it is amazingly simple. Amazingly simple. Probably because she's done a lot of her pre-qualifying questions ahead of time. But one of the questions she keeps asking on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not so desirable and 10 being extremely desirable, what's the one thing that has to happen in this transaction for your experience to be a 10? And then if you could add just one more thing, what other thing has to happen to make your experience a 10 plus? And you think she'd stop there. Then she goes on and says, if we could add just one more thing for the experience to be a 10 plus plus, what would that be? And I think she actually goes to a 3 plus. So that's elevating the seller's expectations. Go watch the interview. It's interesting, very enlightening, and very simple. And again, she's probably done a lot of interview qualification with the seller before she ever got there. All right, but this elevates their expectations. Questions so far? And I didn't mean for this to be kind of a lecture. I want more. But I think you guys are getting frustrated and not getting listings. They're going to come. They're going to come. Keep working out, reaching out to that sphere of influence and door knocking and mailers, emailers, smart plans, neighborhood nurtures, KW app. There's so many ways you can get yourself in front of people. You know, Leslie was saying, really use social media to re-image yourself as the realtor. Do you have questions? Because this is supposed to be about seller dialogues. Finding out what their expectations are is number 1. And then staying in communication with them is number 2. Now, number 3 might be a rock solid CMA, because you know you're going to be challenged. Rock solid. Your CMA should take at least an hour and a half to 2 hours. And if it takes less than that, you're not going to have an easy time explaining it. Anybody have any questions, comments? Commission objections?
I have a question about CMA. I've seen Nabil and I were going over RPR,
Mhm.
that you could do it there as well. Any preference?
I'm not as familiar with RPR probably as I should be.
Okay,
I tend to be one who feels you should do that search in the MLS and make it very broad in the beginning, the town, an approximate price range, approximate. Bedrooms and baths, and even that having some leeway, and then pulling up what you have and literally reading through the listings and highlighting the similarities and the differences between those comparables and the subject property. Because especially when you start getting into comparing it to houses that have more features, make sure you can easily point out, yes, but that one has this. It also has this that yours doesn't have. And I know Bold has a nice listing presentation. Did you all get a chance to read that and practice it? Yeah, the two
Yep.
different computer stores.
2 different computer stores.
Yeah. Isn't that in the Bold listing presentation? I know it used to be. You turn to someone and say, you know, if you're going to buy a computer and you go to one computer store and they're going to charge you $2,000, and then you go down the street to another computer store and they're going to charge you $2,000 also, but they're going to build it for you. They're going to put on all the software products, and it's going to include this and it's going to include that. Which one are you going to buy? So
Right, that's like the car, Roddy, that's
Our
like the
analogy we
car
use now. Yeah.
analogy that we use in Push, right?
okay, same thing. And sometimes sellers need to have the question. And again, you turn it into a question. Which one would you buy? If you were a buyer, which one would you buy?
Yeah, and why? Yeah. Which
And
one
why?
would you find more value in and why?
Yep. Remember, he who asks questions is in control. Yep.
Excellent point.
Makes it clearer. All right. What other challenges? And just, you know, one thing in real estate, every day is a challenge to reach out to people. Every day. Sometimes at the other end of that phone is going to be a buyer, but every once in a while it's going to be a seller. And the market will change, not sure when it's going to be more valuable to have buyers than sellers. So, all right, what else? How is script practice going? Can I ask, Daniel, you have a question?
Yeah. So one of my, I guess, shortcomings right now, which I expressed to David, I'm going to jump on that push coming up. And I get frustrated doing it because like I'm good at doing work. What's hard for me is sitting down and really like, you know, allotting, like I told you this the other day when I saw you, allotting the time, you know, time management. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I understand we've talked about the neighborhood nurtures and the smart campaigns, and those can go on automatic, but it's really hard for me to sit down to do things like that. Like just because I don't necessarily have the guidance on my own. So are there any resources that you could recommend for kind of like putting you on path to be more disciplined? I do mindset. I've done a mindset coaching class for 6 weeks, which was really helpful. But you know, once you're not doing the class, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. And then the only accountability partner is yourself. So I guess, I just said the word there, accountability partner. That might be an option, an idea for me. Okay.
Yeah,
But
light
maybe-
bulb. Yeah.
But maybe if I don't know if KW offers anything like that. David said he would discuss that, I think, in Push. So.
Yep, David will discuss it. There's also one-on-one coaching. So speak with Mary Beth about that also.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. How many of you are doing script practice regularly, at least twice a week? Roddy, Nabila, yep. Ooh, cricket.
I've got a mix of them. So I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, different partners. And then Nabil and I practice every day.
Excuse me. And how much time is each session?
The morning ones are anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, depending on, what we're practicing. And the Bila, how long would you say our practice is? 30
to 40
minutes?
Yeah.
30 to
about
40?
Okay. And do you do outgoing scripts like calling FSBOs, calling expireds?
Been doing listing presentations, just getting ready for when we get that
We
appointment.
used to do objections only, and then we thought, let's just do listing presentations, and then we can add the objections towards the end.
I love it. I love it. You guys are right on, and a great example to everybody on this call. That's fabulous. I love it. Okay. What else? What other issues do you anticipate as that you want to talk about regarding sellers? Commission, pricing, expectations.
So I have a question. So when you talk to a seller and they've put a lot of high-end stuff in their kitchen and a lot of high-end stuff in the house, which is really pushing the value, in their minds, pushing the value of the house up. But in reality, it's not gonna.
They're not
how
going to
would
get
you-
back dollar for dollar.
Correct. So how would you deal with that?
Well, how long ago did they add all those special things? And ask them, didn't they enjoy it? And did they expect to get back dollar for dollar? There was a value on the fact that they got to enjoy it.
Mhm.
And now the buyer is essentially buying, although top end, used. Anybody else
That's a good idea.
want to add to that?
I think there's something in the listing presentation where David kind of refers to that. He says something like, well, why did you buy that hot tub? Did you buy it for the next buyer or did you buy it for your own enjoyment? And then, it's for my enjoyment. Okay, so you got your money's worth or some of your money's worth for it, correct? And then the expectation is that they might not get, like you said, dollar for dollar back on it, but they got value from it. And it might have value in the sense that it might not be reflected in the end selling price, but that it's going to bring more buyers and it's going to be more appealing for buyers.
Good point. Handled that very well, Anne, very well. And you did it by asking questions better than I did. But yes. Yeah, I like it. Dave, did that help you?
Yes, it did. It reminded me why I do improvements in my own home. I don't do it for the seller. I'm doing it for my quality of life. So I just.
And that's a
use-
wonderful statement to say to a seller who, yeah, exactly. And
Thank you
remember,
for reminding me.
Yeah, sure.
what else? What other challenges do you anticipate?
Well, what I run into a lot is there's a lot of things in the pipeline, but a lot of people are just not ready yet, at
Find
all.
out why. Isolate what's holding them back.
They're gonna, it's retirement's coming, so they want to retire first and then move and then list their home. Other things are going on, so I'm just waiting, having patience, you know what I mean? And just cultivating
Well-
them until they're ready.
Now, if a retirement's coming in a month or 2 or 6,
2 years.
2 years, we could have an entirely different market at that point.
Yep.
Are they willing to take the chance that their house will sell at a different price than what they would get now? Just keep asking those questions, Dave, in hopes that maybe it would not necessarily encourage them to list now, but at least they'd have quality dialogue. And that when the time came for them to list, it would be a very clear decision on timing. Challenge them. You guys are quiet today. Was it the 4th of July that great?
It was a good 4th.
It was a good 4th. Oh my God. Was everybody ready to get out and celebrate? Didn't it seem
Sure.
like that? Like everybody was just celebrating normalcy. And I watched fireworks and I swear I looked in the sky and there were 10 different events going on, 10 different fireworks going on. It was just like, oh my God.
It was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. If you didn't have a dog, right, Roddy?
Well, it was past that. I think it was, somebody was doing something past midnight, well past midnight.
Oh, yeah.
So must have been
Yep.
kids,
Kids are your neighbors. Some big kids do it too.
right?
Yeah. All right, any questions, comments? We're getting a little ahead of schedule today, so we have time if anybody wants to bring up a special topic.
Pat, real quick,
Go ahead,
just,
Joe.
for door knocking, what do you find the best times to do that? I'm a teacher. I'm off all summer, but to door knock midday on a Tuesday or Wednesday, I feel like nobody might not be home. Or what do you think?
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday.
Mhm.
All right.
I go out
I think-
Saturdays.
I think you'd be surprised who's home. A lot of people are working from home right now. The only thing is if you're door knocking, Daniel, did you have any issue with pushback knocking on somebody's door as a guy?
No, I was surprised. I had some people who had signs up, no solicitation, but I just slipped it in their mailbox anyway. But no
Can you do
human
that?
interaction.
Can you
No.
put things in their mailbox?
Not without a solicitation permit. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Hey, I got a question for people doing door knocking. How do you dress? I mean,
Business
that-
casual?
okay, no suit and tie, just casual.
No
You might
suit and
look like the
tie.
IRS or Fed if you're in a suit and tie.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, casual Friday, I would say classification. Yeah, nothing. I think I might have been wearing this shirt actually. So yeah, and maybe khakis, maybe. I don't think so though. Not sure. And the reason I got that was because when I got into this real estate industry, I was following this website of real estate investors, and these guys are not real estate agents. They're just regular guys, and they go out there in t-shirt and jeans, and they say you don't want to look too polished. So I took that to heart, and that's
Too
how I do
slick.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want to look too slick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or too casual. I think business casual is a nice compromise there. Yeah.
Daniel, when you door knock, what do you actually have with you?
I can send you the letter I have if you give me your information. I made a letter, and I do have the luxury of being on a team where they do like a promotional thing where they had these little coupons for like removing junk. So I attached that to the it's like a 5x7 card. So I attached that to the letter, but really it's just a letter. The letter, whether they use that coupon or not, who knows? But
You could do mortgage information.
yeah, you could do that, or maybe just like a quick CMA of like some properties that sold in that neighborhood, recent prices. Because some people weren't interested in selling, but they were very interested in what price they could get for their home. So what I did was I followed up with those people with CMAs on their properties, and I went door knocking again on those homes and made sure that I handed that to them in person. One person never even got back to me, and I was like, because I said, here's just email me and I'll give you that CMA. And they didn't email me, of course. So I went in person again and followed up just to see. But I can email you that if you want. Just give me your email just in the chat if you want, or just, yeah.
Daniel, can you do that for me as well?
Sure. Yeah. I can't do it right now on the phone because I'm not that tech savvy and I don't have my
Oh, it
computer in
doesn't
front
have
of
to
me,
be right
but I will definitely do
You know
that.
what?
Yeah.
Daniel, why don't you put your email in the chat?
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah, that's
anybody
great.
interested could reach out to you.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, my name is Daniel, not Disco Phone. So I'm on here.
So if we do a search, we won't find you, huh?
No. And I'll write my name so you guys all know it.
Thank you. Appreciate you sharing.
Of course.
Daniel.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, it sounds like I'm doing, amazing stuff, and I don't give myself enough credit for it, but I haven't really made much traction on it, but it does feel good. And I should give myself credit because, I don't normally. So this is something big for me to do.
Kudos.
Oh yeah. Thanks. There you go.
Listen, it's all a journey, guys. It's all a journey. All right,
So-
there's,
Can I ask a question? What's
Sure.
the best time to make, if you miss out on the 9:30,
Live Legion.
yeah, the Zoom event? What are the best times to make calls throughout the day? Because it always seems like when I make it that early, I'm always leaving a lot of messages.
Mhm, mhm. What's everybody else's experience?
I would avoid calling at dinner time.
Mhm.
Maybe between 5 and 6 would be a good time.
There's all sorts of schools of thought. Not too late, certainly not past 8:30 in the evening. Call before then. I think just do it. Just do it.
Sounds like a Nike commercial.
A surprising number of people are working from home, at least now. Come September, it may be different. I understand some of the companies are giving mandates that people get back in by September, right after Labor Day. So take advantage of the fact that if you do door knock now, you're going to have more people to interact with. Anything else?
What's the best way to find a script partner?
Hello.
You just message the group, you can go on Facebook or
Oh, okay.
WhatsApp and just say, looking for a partner. These are the hours, days,
Okay.
duration. That's what I
Not-
did.
Not to Rasham. To Roddy, did you say Rasham?
No,
Oh, okay. Okay.
no, that's the best way to reach them.
Oh, to reach them. Okay. Yeah. Do it on your coaching lobby Facebook
Yep.
page or even the
Even-
mindset group.
I was going to say even the morning mindset. A lot of
There you
the partners I have came through that. And just
I'm
let them
gonna-
know what times you have available.
Again, I'm going to remind you, if you can, at 8:00, do James Shaw pivot shift call, national call, 8:00 for about 20, 25 minutes. Really well worth it. And you'll hear it mentioned a lot on David's mindset call.
Mhm.
All right. Everybody good?
Yep.
All right. What do you
Thank
want to
you.
talk about next? Oh, you know what? I'm going to give you a challenge. Mary Beth and I are talking about starting again another book club. What would be a book you'd be interested in? And you don't even have to answer me now. You can email Mary Beth and I. I'm reading one now. I'm disappointed, so I probably would not recommend it. The Power of Moment, The Power of Moment. And I thought it would be great, and it started out great, but it's I don't know. Think about some of the books you're reading or want to read or hear about, and maybe it's something that we can do a book club on. All right.
I have a suggestion. Sorry. It's called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. So
Okay.
that might be a suggestion.
All right. All right.
I don't recommend the audiobook on that one, by the way.
Why?
His voice is very soothing, and I fell asleep almost every time, but the message is really powerful. Very powerful.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
I could use that. I'm having trouble sleeping, so.
Yeah, do that. Do that. He's amazing for both sleep and a powerful message.
There you go.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Listen and drive.
Thank you all. Thanks, Patty. Appreciate it.
Thank
All right,
you.
have a great week,
Thanks,
guys.
Patty.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Bye.